Good morning. We will call the February 3rd, 2026 City Council meeting to order. I ask Councilwoman Julie Holt to lead us in invocation and pledge. If you will, please stand.
Before we begin, I do want to briefly acknowledge this past week. City employees worked extended hours in dangerous conditions. I wrote these down because I get a little nervous. Our streets and grounds crew showed up consistently and did the work required. We saw that effort and we saw your sacrifice, and we're grateful. City staff, volunteers, citizens stepped up to operate warming shelters and care for our most vulnerable. They filled gaps where they existed. That distinction matters. To our first responders, emergency personnel, and animal care teams who protected lives, humans and animals alike, we thank you. There's been a great deal of public commentary. What matters is service, performance, and accountability, especially as we move into the budget season. And thank you guys for all you did. All right, if you'll bow your heads. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything you blessed us with. Thank you for allowing us to be here this morning. Thank you for our city employees. Thank you for the citizens and volunteers who helped. Please give us discernment and just help us do what we need to when we make the decisions up here. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item 3 is roll call, and Marquisha, see all council members present here, and then Councilmember Donnell is in DC, but joining us via Zoom today.
Yes.
Next, we have approval of the minutes of the January 6th City Council meeting, January 8th special call meeting. Those minutes were emailed out to you all. If there is no additions or corrections, they stand approved as read. No proclamations or recognitions. No public comment. Move on to first reading. Come on up. Item 1 is proposed budget amendments to recognize $13,158.71 insurance recovery and to appropriate for repairs.
That is a police vehicle. This is one of those routine insurance recovery and appropriation budget amendments that we do.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion from council. Council, please vote.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you, Councilman Donnell. Forgot to remind you about that. You're on it. Good job. Item 2 is proposed budget amendment number 59 to recognize $10,000 donation from Dixie Georgia Pacific to Jackson Police Department.
Motion.
Second.
The motion is second. Further discussion from council. Council, please vote.
Aye.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 3 is proposed budget amendment to recognize $2,941,400.04 in additional revenue and to appropriate or adjust $2,746,214.97 in additional unbudgeted or new expenditures.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
This is one of 2 big budget amendments you're looking at today. The larger one, of course, is the appropriation of the debt proceeds. This is basically a catch-up budget amendment for things that have been overlooked or under-budgeted or unexpected. Of course, you see quite a bit new revenue. The biggest portion of that is that stormwater grant, but we also are recognizing our ECD Child Care Center reimbursement. Overall, it's about $180,000 to the good, if you want to look at that across funds. And so we can go through these if you'd like to on some of these. Would you like to?
Yes, since we didn't have our Thursday
Okay.
night meeting, I think.
So
we do.
if you look into the expenditures especially, and I think those are probably the ones that you're probably most concerned with, where do these numbers come from? In the budgeting process last year for the FY26 budget, I am told that the normal process for the airport was that they submit their budget request to the county, who then sends it to the city. There was new staff in the county, and there was obviously some fairly new staff in the city. We didn't know to expect it, and they didn't know to send it. And so this $224,000 in that budget amendment actually covers the match for some of their capital projects, local and some of the local capital projects, as well as some of the grant-funded capital projects. I have asked them, and they are more than willing to come speak with us as we go into next year's budgeting season. Because and I don't know if they have spoken before council before during budgeting season, but they are incredibly enthusiastic about their doing, and they're doing some great things. And you can see that, but this will take care of their capital needs for this year. The one Jackson Civic Plan, that is the GLL report that should have been rolled over. That was not rolled over from last year's budget. Liability, auto liability, and property, you see that some of that went up and some of that went down. The net is, what is it, about $6,000 change in insurance. Those numbers in the budget were estimates, and some of them were a little more and some of them were a little less. We look at the municipal court overtime salaries. Those are running hot. I think that they've had folks working some longer hours there to take care of some different things. That's something that we'll address in next year's budget to make sure that we adequately budget for overtime, but in actually to take care of it this year, that's necessary for that. You look at the housing building demolition. We had to demolish a building under a court order, which I think most all of you on the dais were excited to see that building come down. But that was not budgeted for. They included about $25,000 for demolition, and it ended up being quite a bit more than that. Street maintenance engineering, some of that is, I think, stuff that perhaps could have been in a capital project somewhere, but that is all state street aid maintenance. It may come to a time, and Stan and I will talk about this, it may come to a time when we can put that somewhere else. But if we do that, that will come back to you with that. But in order to keep the budget true and to adequately appropriate for those funds, we need to do that. Westwood summer salaries, we know that there were some oversights in the budgeting process for personnel costs this year. Those of you on the budget committee have heard us talk about that. Going to be working with HR and all to make sure that that is adequately captured, not just at Westwood, but at some other parks and rec facilities. What is happening is some of the part-time and seasonal positions were not budgeted like they need to be budgeted for those, and we're going to catch those up, actually working on that this month. Farmers Market publicity, God bless him, he said, I thought I'd put that in there and I didn't. And, you hear his radio ads and see the things that they do, and that's what those numbers are. Unfinished FY25 street resurfacing, there was a little bit left in FY25 that was not completed until FY26, and that's what that number is. The Child Care Center should be the end of that. Senior Center should be very nearly the end of that. If you pay attention to the other budget amendment that we've got, number 66, if we are able to, some of those funds are reallocated properly, we may not need to do that. The AFG local match should have been rolled over into this year's budget because we knew that we still owed that match. We just didn't know it well enough to stick it in the budget. The 4-Minute City program is the defibrillators that are scattered out. That wasn't adequately budgeted. I think they're doing an evaluation on the utility of that. The defibrillators would still work, but they wouldn't be perhaps notifying the volunteers. That's something they're working on. TDEC Stormwater, you'll see the offset for the TDEC Stormwater grant under the revenue, but that's been, those are just ongoing expenses as far as that stormwater work. And then finally, the Animal Care Center at $398,000. There is money in the debt for that. If once that all shakes out, we actually may see a budget amendment to back that particular portion back out. So if you look at the new expense versus the new revenue, we're seeing more revenue than we see expense, which is a good thing, right? And but this is basically a catch-up budget amendment to make sure that we capture all this stuff, trying to address some of our audit findings where they say that we didn't adequately appropriate for these different things. You may look for another one of these perhaps in March, just to make sure that we're truing up where we need to be on the budget, both with revenue and expense. And I'd love to take your questions.
So, Mr.
Councilman
Chairman.
Laura asked you
Okay,
to-
Well,
should
I'd
have
like
just
to do a
looked
quick
at
one, then I'll come back later. The stormwater grant is 2.5 million, and the stormwater expenditure is 1.3, which gives us $1 million. We're using that million we're not using it to cover these other things, are we?
No, sir.
Well, so we're
so what-
not, this is not revenue neutral then, this is adding $1 million or so.
Well, what's happened is that they did not request reimbursements for the stormwater grants in previous fiscal years, which is why that number, and you can look at it two ways. We are paying ourselves back for money that we spent in previous fiscal periods, which is in some ways new money in this budget, okay? Or, you know, it's just an offset to what they're doing. I mean, we're gonna do another TDEC stormwater reimbursement. I think they're working on right now. This is that money that we talked about several months ago.
Okay, so just isolate that one little piece there. Theoretically, we could take $1 million of it and put it in fund balance.
I mean, that's where it's going.
Okay, and
Well,
To get it-
the net of this,
exactly.
It's crossing.
We're using that to pay for some of these items here. And it's a little bit misleading. It's like stormwater is that, and
Well,
we've got
so
$1
what-
million surplus we're using for a bunch of things that aren't stormwater.
so what has happened, of course, is in FY '25, they paid a lot of those stormwater expenses that actually hit the bottom line and hit fund balance, okay?
Okay.
This is in some ways replenishing those numbers there.
Did we not know that number before this came out?
Did we not know that number
And
before this
budgeted, why
came?
didn't we budget it that way when we budgeted it?
Because we were in the process at that time of getting the reimbursement requests turned in. Those things are being done intermittently, and that's something we've worked with the engineering firm and also our street department to get that done.
Councilmember Wallace?
Yes, sir, thank you. So it's approximately 59,257, about 60,000, correct?
I'm sorry.
Just the difference
Yes, ma'am.
is about 60,000. Okay, and then since he did touch on stormwater, you know, that's I do want to make sure that we're still following the correct procedure, that we're probably not even addressing the money, but that we're really going to be talking about stormwater.
As far as I know, and I don't know if Mr. Clark is here, as far as I know, they're still on schedule to be done with that on schedule. And
Yeah.
that's the
And
last
none
word I
of
heard.
those funds, that is just what we had grant appropriated, and we're just following up with that.
That's right, yes,
correct?
ma'am. We're
Okay.
paying ourselves back for things we've already
Okay.
spent.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Meehan?
If we get 2.5 million in from the stormwater grant,
Yes, sir.
is that money not restricted for stormwater all the way through till it's gone?
So what we ended up doing is paying for some of that stormwater out of our own fund balance to begin with.
And repaying that?
And we're
reimbursing
repaying
ourselves.
ourselves is what we're doing.
So is there money that's left over at all?
We'll see when we get to the end of that.
Okay. Which means we'll still put that towards
Right.
stormwater.
Yes, sir. I mean, we've got to pay for the stormwater. I mean, we're being reimbursed for our expenses
It's a
up to 95.
reimbursable grant.
Right, it's
Oh,
the
okay.
grant.
Yeah,
Okay,
the grant.
that makes sense
Grant.
now.
Could you tell us where we are on that grant, how much it was to start with, how much we've gotten so far, and how much we expect to get?
I don't have that in front of me, Larry. I think we've got,
Can you get it for next meeting?
I think the total was about 9.5. Is that the right number?
Can you get
And,
it for the next meeting, so we'll know what we're talking about?
yes, sir.
Thank
Yeah, because total project's what, approximately 11 million,
Something
Yes.
like that.
9.5 from the state, and then we fill the rest.
Right. And then there was also that pre-work that was also fully funded that was sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
you. No,
Do you have a question?
yes. So the Parks and Rec, we've got another $1 million, right? Roughly.
I'm sorry?
Parks and Recs, new expenditures.
Where is, I see Westwood Summer, but where are you talking
Mhm,
about?
Well, the tennis complex is $200,000. I think some on the first page, Parks and Rec there.
And we're looking at number 64 right now.
So, well, I'm looking at two entries, which are 450,000, 539,000. But here's my question. Is this the last, we had to make some adjustments on Park and Rec?
I'm sorry, which document are you looking at, Councilman Lawrence?
This,
What page? Look at
We're
the
looking
top.
at, we're looking at budget amendment 64
Yeah,
right now.
that's number 66, top of your
Okay.
page. We're on 64.
Top right
Talk
now.
about that.
Yeah, you're on 66 right now. You're seeing budget amendment 66, one budget amendment 64.
okay, I got it right here. Okay,
We'll get there eventually.
We'll get there in a minute.
all right.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion.
You have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Aye.
Motion passed 8 to 1 abstain.
All right, item 4 is
I'm
proposed,
sorry, motion passed 9 to 0, I'm sorry.
item 4, proposed budget amendment number 65 to reallocate $277,912 in personnel expenses for various departments to H&S.
So, this budget amendment, there was a suggestion, and it's probably correct, that the cost of some of these departments should be allocated to H&S. Of course, H&S is a proprietary fund. So a portion of some of the mayor's office salaries, portion of my office, the larger portion of Public Works, which is some of their staff, and then a small portion of our accounting has been allocated, at least in this budget amendment, to H&S to more accurately reflect the work that goes in from those departments to health and sanitation. It's a $0, there's no increasing cost, it's just reallocating where the cost is paid for.
Any questions from council?
Now, those funds that come from those departments, are those departments gonna suffer because the monies have been reallocated from them to somebody else?
No, sir, these are straight up personnel costs. They were going to be paid, and they're still going to be paid. The amounts are the same, we're just taking them out of a different expense line.
Is there a motion?
I just,
You have a question? I'm sorry, go ahead.
yes, sir, taking them out of a different expense line. Can you just kind of
Explain that.
So right
think
now,
that process?
right now,
so it's
all
more
of these are coming out of general fund,
clear? Okay,
which is supported by various types of tax dollars.
right,
And what this budget amendment is doing is transferring a portion of those personnel expenses to H&S, which is supported by the ratepayers for health and sanitation. And so it's no new money to the city. It's not like, it's reducing the burden on the taxpayer and increasing the burden slightly on the ratepayer, which it depends on the amount of work that's actually going into those, but that's what we're doing. Now, this is not going to be, not projected to affect rates anywhere, but it does free up a little general fund cash, and it also is more equitable based on the amount of work that these folks are doing.
Councilmember Wallace, you remember probably 5 years ago, we had, when the investigation happened with the comptroller's office, the city was overcharging the solid waste fund for
Sure,
general
sure,
fund
okay.
salaries.
Okay.
And so we did away with that altogether.
Okay.
And so with the goal of coming back to adequately charging the solid waste
Okay.
fund for general
Okay,
fund
thank
salaries, and so
you.
we got to
was-
that point.
Thank you, I understand that now, thank you.
He did better than I did.
Well, it was just, we can't go
I had
with
time to think
general,
about
and that explains it, so,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Motion passed 9 to 0.
That kind of agrees with that.
Item 5 is proposed budget amendment number 66 to recognize $25,990 and appropriate, $25,990,000 and appropriate $23,827,227.87 from the proceeds of Series 2026 debt issue and returned $2,162,772.13 to fund balances reimbursement for projects already committed.
Good.
So I'm going to try to explain and may answer your question now.
This time 66, okay.
Now we're on 66.
Yeah,
Okay.
there it-
And
wake me
so,
up.
this is the big, beautiful budget amendment. I'm not supposed to call it that, am I?
Please, no.
Okay. I'm sorry.
He can't help himself.
Unless you want to address us in a beautiful way, you
I
know.
can't help myself. And so what this is, obviously, is we're recognizing that revenue, that 25,990, and then appropriating to all of the different capital general ledger accounts that these projects are going to come out of. The difference in the $2.16 million are, for example, some of the police vehicles have already been purchased. Some of the engineering for the park grant stuff has already been done. Some of the equipment that was going in some of these places has already been purchased. And that number amounts to $2.16 million, which is why if you compare the numbers in the budget amendment to the numbers in the project list, the numbers in the budget amendment are smaller because we've already spent some of that money. And so doing it that way basically reimburses us for the cost that we've already incurred. Was that fairly plain, Larry?
Yes, you know my feelings on it, but yeah, yes.
So,
Question?
I have, yes.
Okay.
So, but I'd like though to follow up on the Parks and Rec and on the animal care. And if you don't have these numbers with you today, I understand that. But I'd like to put those to bed and find out what did we actually end up spending? Every time I ask, we don't know exactly, so.
Well, we knew 6 months ago, I told you, but I hadn't put it back together since then.
Okay.
But, so one of the things, one of the things that we are going to do, and those of you who remember this conversation in December, or November of last year, we do have our tracking sheet that we are using. We're going to continue to use that, and that'll be available to you to see where we are on the projects. Additionally, talking with some members of the Budget Committee yesterday, they would very much like us to basically take this and add a column and say, how much have you spent out of this column, which I think is a good idea too. That way we can see that. And we should be able to do that fairly easily and make it something digestible. If you really want to confuse somebody, you give them 16 pages of lots of numbers. You guys would like 3 pages with numbers that just show where we are, and that's our goal with that.
So you can get those two things by next meeting or have them on the
I can.
portal one or two?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll, you said
And just-
total cost of animal care and what else?
The Parks and Recs, all told, we moved money around 2 or 3 times. We moved $250,000 2 months ago.
That's a
We
different,
had something in there
yeah,
also.
that's sort of a different thing, but you and I can talk and I'll try to figure out exactly what you want.
Anyway,
Okay.
Councilman McMean, then Councilmember Wallace.
so does this impact the fund balance, 2.1 million, to where we replenish that?
It is, we're repaying ourselves $2.1 million. It will help. Yes, sir.
And fund balance improves?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
To what?
Probably,
Better than it was.
2.1 plus whatever it is.
These
Yeah,
are
whatever.
questions you always have to know.
that's right. No, I mean,
More than
so, this,
That was gonna be my question, is what is the fund balance?
See,
I've got a
And no
long,
offense to
have
you,
to
but I
know.
mean, this is
I've got a
your,
long
it's your
speech
job
on
to
that,
know.
and you've heard it, because it's hard to say, what is the fund balance today? That's a difficult thing to say.
I
A
can
good-
say what is the fund balance today.
You can.
That wasn't hard.
Looking at,
14
I mean,
million.
the numbers we're reporting are about $15.4 million. But it is much higher than that because we've got some revenue packets and revenue batches that we haven't posted yet that were unreported. Okay? Now, keep in mind, when we say that, you're like, oh, that's a great number. First of all, no, that's not a good number at all. I shouldn't say that, should I? But when we get the additional property tax revenue that we've collected and that's actually posted, it's going to be quite a bit larger. But that also is what takes us from now until we begin collecting property tax again. And so, if you've got a pocket full of money on payday, it might look a little different 2 weeks later. That's, just keep that in mind. When I give you a number that is much larger than that, the next time you ask me, don't say, oh yeah, we're doing great.
How much property tax do we have that hasn't been?
We got about $1.5 million uncollected right now, which is pretty far ahead of where we were at this time last year. That doesn't include some adjustments as well as our pilot billing that hasn't been added to the, if we built $34.9 million in property tax, there's another couple of million in adjustments that we've done since then that aren't reflected in that number. And so when I say that 1.5 mil or so, that's based on the original property tax billing and not with the adjustments, because the adjustments haven't posted yet. But still, we are ahead of where we were last year at this time.
Any additional questions?
We're ahead of,
I did.
Okay, go ahead, Councilman Wallace.
Thank you, and I won't ask you about the fund balance.
Well, you go ahead, everybody else has.
That's okay, I had a pretty good estimate. Airways, that is grant related, that's something ongoing that we're working on. So at some point, we've been talking about that for about 5 years or
6 years,
over.
6 years.
It might be good if we just kind of have a page or two, so newer council members and we can all still follow along, because that's gonna be a long process.
And I will ask for some help for some other departments on that. I can get it funded, but I don't know what the project looks like.
And then the Sportsplex.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse, and the Sportsplex, that's something that we just agreed on. So that will really be paid for out of the bond,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And then the Civic Center, I want to make sure, that's one of my things I stand with too. The Civic Center, the 1.6, what does that incur?
The risers.
That's the
Okay,
risers.
only the risers. So where will we put the money in then? Right now, we've already agreed for someone to look at it and have a contract for them to look at it. But then we're gonna have to be able to pay for it.
For what? I'm
The-
sorry.
What do they call, LaShawn? What?
The rigging?
Fly rails, yes.
It's in your,
Yes,
some of that's in
ma'am,
your
I'm
regular
sorry.
capital, but I
It's in
don't
the, it
remember
was in
how
the
much.
regular capital. We kept it in
Okay.
the regular capital.
Okay, great. And let me see if there was any other. Then you mentioned engineering. I would just be interested to know what we pay for with our engineer and then what we have to pay for, because I know there were a lot of projects that we had to pay for an outside engineering firm.
Okay.
I just think.
Don't
that-
forget, and let's have a conversation about that, because I want to be able to get you an answer that answers your question,
Yeah.
rather than just something I throw at you.
Oh, yeah, that's why I just wanted to bring it up, so we
Okay.
could be on the record. And those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I got.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, we'll go you.
Stella Duncan, of course, that's my district. I assume that is for the restrooms there. That park doesn't have a restroom, so we're gonna have restrooms there at that park. That's what that's for. Okay, good. Very good. Paving, still looking at probably March, when everything reopens.
I would think so. However, I know that Chris was talking with contractors yesterday, and they wanted to know when we were ready. And,
Today.
And,
Don't lay that payment down right now on top of
no,
the
he's,
ice.
no, it's like, Chris has asked me several times, he said, so we got the money. I'm like, we've got the money. He said, so we can go. I'm like, well, let's get past the first reading, but yeah, we can go. You know, and so, I mean, I would assume as soon as it's warm enough to open the asphalt plants, but that's not my area of expertise.
Thank you.
Councilman
Thank
Lawrence.
This might not be the right time, it's not tell me. Could you give us an overall position of where we are now financially? How are we doing versus expenditures versus revenue? How are we doing versus the past years?
So, general fund expenses are running about 1% behind where they should be this year. So we are technically behind, we're technically running under budget, about 1% in just general fund operating expenditures. There are some expenses, especially when it comes to some of these departments that have part-time and seasonal help, that are running hot, and we're working to figure out how to make sure that doesn't happen again. And then there are some seasonal, one-time, or, you know, you pay your insurance once a year. You know, big numbers, but you pay them once a year. There's some of those that appear to be running way ahead of budget, but it's only because we make one or two payments a year on those sorts of things. Overall, we're running about 1% under budget on expenses. The revenue side is lagging by 3 to 4%, basically where we like to be. But again, some of those revenue items are 1 or 2 times a year. For example, we get business tax every month, but we get one big business tax payment a year, big, you know, and that'll make that, you know, it's $1.6 million when we get that one, and it'll be significant. I'm pretty comfortable with where we are right now, Larry.
Okay.
I mean, I'd always like there to be more.
Sure, yeah.
But, I mean, more revenue, but,
So let me repeat what I think I heard. Our fund balance right now is over what we budgeted.
right,
to
but
the
I
best of our-
expect it to land right about where, I still expect it to land right about where we budgeted it to land.
Thanks.
Sure.
Are you got a question? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I do. My sound went out when I heard you saying something about paving, and somebody said they were ready to go or whatever. Repeat that, because I didn't hear it.
Councilman, I said that the folks in engineering have been asking me if we're ready to go, and I told them that we had the money, and as far as I can tell, as soon as the asphalt plants open and they're able, I think everybody's raring and ready to go. I don't know when that'll happen, but like I said, that's not my area of expertise, but I think they're ready to go.
Okay, well, tell the engineer that, yeah, we are ready to go right now.
He's
And
got to
that I
name the
really have
streets.
pressing problems with
Cut
the
'em
roads
off, Kenny.
in Lincoln Court, Lexington Avenue, and Hayes Avenue. You need to jump on that right now.
We've all got
Yeah.
streets. We all got
We
streets, Richard.
appreciate you, Richard.
All right, well, tell them we ready to go now, yeah.
Yeah.
Councilman, you got a question?
I would like to make a motion that we,
All right, got a motion?
Second.
Is there a second? Any further discussion?
and that we include roads, what are the other two?
Fly rail.
All right, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
9-0.
All right, thank you. We move on to second reading. Item 1 is proposed budget amendment to recognize and appropriate $25,000 for Cities for Financial Empowerment Legacy Planning Grant.
So moved.
We have a motion?
Second.
Second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Shoot, I didn't get to ask my question.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, you, go ahead, go ahead.
Um,
So we-
I
let's
just-
let's
that
call
was
the
a
vote.
grant.
Yeah, it was a grant, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, thank you, sir.
all right. So let's go back to vote. Can we vote one more and then wait till Markeisha calls the vote before you go back to the middle? Council, please vote on that item.
Yes.
Bless you.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, item 2 is proposed budget amendment to reallocate $13,000 for CFE Summer Job Connect grant.
So moved.
We have a motion, you say second, Council? Second. Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 3 is proposed budget amendment to recognize donations and miscellaneous fire revenue totaling $13,170.38 and appropriate to fire administration.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 4 is consideration of a plan of service, proposed annexation and zoning for an area referred to as George White Area 2, comprising of 2.16 acres more or less, located east of Moisey Creek and Boiling Drive. Proposed zoning is RS2, Single Family Residential District.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Move on to new business. Item 1 is consideration of a report on debt obligation, public facility bond, series 2026.
So in order to issue, after you've issued public debt in Tennessee, you have to report to the Comptroller of the Treasury the terms of the debt, and that's on a form called a CT 0253, of which you have a copy there in front of you. I don't know that you have to actually consider this. I just have to present it to you in a public meeting. And so if you would like to vote on it, we can cross our Ts and dot our Is, just to say that you've got it. But that is closed. The basic terms are on there, which actually are broken down a lot more simply than everything else that we've given you about the terms on that. But that's what that document is.
So council, before you have any questions, we open up for questions, but if someone wants to make a motion, I think it'd probably be best if we just have a motion and a vote to accept the report. So if somebody wants to make that motion.
I move that we, accept the report.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on the report, or the motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Question for you, Mr. Reed. We are unrated with the 3 credit agencies. Just out of curiosity, what's that?
This is unrated for this note. Okay, so debt is, debt generally is rated on the issue basis. This is unrated debt, is what this is. So one of the reasons that this was easier to accomplish, to do it through a PBA than to go through the public market, is it didn't require rating.
Okay.
And so it's just unrated. If we had borrowed $2 million from the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund, that is unrated as well.
Right.
That's,
Excuse me, yeah, the bond fund itself is what's rated, correct?
right, well, and
Essentially.
it depends on how you're doing it, but
Yeah.
yes, sir. Yeah, if you buy it from, if you were to, but yeah, this is unrated debt, which made it easier.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yeah.
When's the last time we had a rating?
Our current rating, I think, AA minus, I think, is where we
That
are.
was how many years ago?
S&P, 2019. We've kept it. We report that. Actually, when we put this out, we reported that to the potential lenders, and so.
All right, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, thank you, Nathan. Item 2 is consideration of agreement between JPD and JTA for the Central Dispatch Building.
Mr. Chairman, should we just say how this is gonna help?
Yeah, well,
Okay, thank you. What is that?
Still DRE.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'll just talk about the use of the facility, and Lewis can talk about the agreement. But currently, there's a section of the JTA building that's on Main Street that our central dispatch is housed in. And so periodically, that lease comes up. And so we have to review it and then enter back into it. And so I'll let Lewis talk about but that's what the use of it is our central dispatcher, police, fire, all that is inside.
To me, this is like a contract between parents and a child. We created Jackson Transit Authority pursuant to federal and state statutes. We helped fund them. They had a building that they weren't using that was next to where the city was gonna expand, and the city does have a use for it. I think the payment's $1 a year. What it does, the important part is it divides who's in control, who must provide insurance, things like that, just for allocate responsibilities. It's not really a financial obligation.
All right, any questions from council? Is there a motion?
So moved.
You have a motion?
Second.
You have a second? Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, item 3 is consideration of agreement for purchasing tasers with the VCIF grant.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second, discussion from council. Council, please
How,
vote.
what's the
Oh,
cost of that? I
oh.
don't have it in front of me. What's the cost of that?
I'm sorry?
What's the cost?
That whole grant was $1.5 million. The cost of this particular project and that grant is right at $1 million.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 4 is consideration of the approval to donate used ballistic vests to Gadsden, Tennessee Police Department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, discussion?
I just have a question.
Go ahead.
Do we get any tax deduction or anything?
Or tax
kinda back
exempt.
from that?
No.
We're tax exempt.
Oh,
No.
well, that's true, that's true. Didn't know if we got any.
Right.
kinda-
This is basically, we've done this before. Our vests that we purchase for our officers have an expiration date on it.
Right,
Obviously, the Kevlar that are in there is still probably pretty good, but our vendors won't warranty them after that, so we replenish them every 5 years. We keep those. Sometimes when officers leave, we can use them for some purposes, but some of these are getting to the point we can't use them for anything. But we can donate them to officers and departments who do not have the expense or the resources to pay for them.
okay.
And so
Donation.
certainly, we're gonna try to partner with them to do that, and that's what we're doing here for Gadsden.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right,
Mr. Mayor, before the chief leaves, I wanted to ask a question about those tasers. Unfortunately, I read while I was up here in the district that a young man was killed involved with police were involved with it. And I want to know, did those police officers, did they have tasers on them when that shooting took place?
Our officers here,
Yes.
yes, our officers do have tasers.
No, I said, but did the ones that involved in the
Like the
shooting, did
incident
they
on
have
College.
tasers on? when that occurred?
I'd have to find that out for you. But I'm pretty sure they did. They're working patrol that day. They would have them. Yes, sir.
All right, okay, I'll talk more about it when I get back to Jackson. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Done.
I think so. Item 5 is consideration of a street acceptance request for Matthews Crossing, Section 1 and 2.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As always, these streets come to you after they have accomplished all that they're required and they have been inspected so that y'all can receive them. They'll still have the warranty period after that, but they are ready for your acceptance.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion, a second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 6, consideration of a street acceptance request for Matthews Crossing, Section 4A and 5A.
These are the same.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second,
Which
motions
one you
and
want?
seconds. Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you, Mayor and
Stand.
Council.
Finger.
Item 7 is consideration of a contract with Sportsplex Credit Card Services.
Good morning, Mayor, Council.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
So we took bids for credit card services for the Sportsplex. This is for the card processing services for the high volume of daily credit card and debit card transactions. For the concessions and tournaments, we received 2 bids. It's a recommendation of Sportsplex to award this bid to Simmons Bank as best bid. In your packets, you'll see the breakdown of the rates. This will be a one-year contract, with the city having 4 additional one-year options. Jason Copton, Sportsplex Director, is here if there's any additional questions.
Who was it? Oh, sorry, hold on.
Go ahead, Councilman
Who were
Busby.
the- Oh, yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Who was the credit card service with last time, or why
So-
did you want to change?
We have had the same vendor in WorldPay since I've been at Sportsplex in 2019. Our volume of processing has increased exponentially, where in FY '21, we ran around $108,000 in credit cards. FY '25, we're now running $518,000 in credit cards. So when analyzing numbers, the rates that we were paying seemed high. So I reached out to Nathan and Ms. Norma and engaged Zach about what could we do to try to save some money in credit card fees. We put it out to bid, and Simmons Bank would be partnering with Elevon, and they analyzed the numbers based on our real numbers from last year, and based on what that volume was, it'll show a savings of around $8,000 a year for us, which would be reducing the effective rate from roughly 4.9% that we were paying to about 3.5%, so a savings of about 1.9% in the effective rate. And in our busiest months, it's about a $1,500 savings, but about $8,000 to $9,000 a year based on volume.
Cool, thank you.
A penny saved is a penny earned.
Absolutely.
Do we pass on some of the cost where the customer pays some of the fees we pay?
That we try to build in some of that into our, because we run the credit cards that we're processing here is through concessions and through our gate fees. And we try to bake in some of those fees into the concession prices. But instead of having to deal with pennies and different things, it's because again, the credit card price is the same as the cash price. But yes, sir, we try to bake some of that in as prices increase.
How long is this contract?
1 year.
1 year?
1 year. 4 one-year options as well.
Thank you.
All right, any additional questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
All right, item 8 is consideration of a contract with AstroTurf Construction Corporation for Sportsplex Infield Turf Project.
So we took bids for the Sportsplex Infield Turf Project. We received 5 bids. AstroTurf was selected as the best bid. With me, of course, is Jason Compton, Sportsplex Director, and Jake Winters from TLM is also here if there's additional questions.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I was able to serve on that committee that looked at the bids, and since we didn't have our Thursday night meeting, I would just like council to know that there were some questions that I had and that they were going to address, and it was outside water concerns. So I think council would feel better in the public to just know what you had looked at and what you were gonna do for that.
Right. Good morning, council.
Good morning.
My name's Jake Winters. I'm with Tillum Associates. I was the project manager and civil engineer on this job. At that, the bid review, that you're concerned about the stormwater. Basically, in the initial design, we took consideration of the existing detention ponds, and we felt that while they were adequate, we also provided additional detention underneath the proposed turf by adding additional rock and just additional drainage later. So there's no increase off-site. Everything that is currently, basically there's no change in how the water will flow.
Okay. Any additional questions from council? Councilman?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
So if this passes, when is the beginning date to start laying?
So Councilwoman Busby, we have already scheduled tentatively, based on approval, a pre-con meeting with AstroTurf for next Wednesday.
Okay.
And based on the timeframe that Jake has gotten from AstroTurf, from the date of signed contract, which could be today or tomorrow, it would take 3 to 4 weeks to get materials and equipment mobilized. And our plan would be to start on Field 15 in Complex D, hopefully by the end of this month, and start moving forward. In the contract, I believe it's
maximum completion date of about 450 days.
460.
460 days. That's worst-case scenario, taking into consideration weather and all of those things. AstroTurf has already said that it does them no good to drag it out. They want to get in, get the project done, and get out. But contractually, about 30 days per field is what they're looking at. But obviously, during the better weather months, we'll be able to move much faster. But our goal is to get Complex D done and then C, and then we'll move around the complex. But, you know, worst-case scenario, we're looking at about 15 to 16 months.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Councilman Green?
How do you, I think we've had this conversation before, but remind me, how do we have games going on and still have this construction?
The maximum number of fields that AstroTurf will be on at any given time will be 3. Now, if they're moving and we can adjust that, but the reason we're starting in Complex D on the bigger fields is that once we get the bigger fields done, then we can move any age group, anything we have, over to those completed fields. If we start with the small fields, we can't play the older age groups on the small fields, so that's when we're going from biggest to largest, and we'll be able to play around it. There may be a weekend that we have to not have an age group, but then we'll be able to rotate that. So if we can't play 13s one weekend, we may the next weekend not play 14s and then play 13s. We are working on trying to get a good timeline from AstroTurf on, you know, and again, it's something that's going to be living and breathing and in flux the entire construction progress. But if we can at least kind of plan through March and April, then we get a good indication on which fields will be offline, so we can go ahead and cut registrations off for those tournaments. Or the last thing we want to do is have a team that is scheduled to come in here and then the last second say, hey, we don't have room for you. We want to try to plan for that and mitigate around the construction as much as possible, because absolutely, we have to have tournaments. We have to bring teams in. This year, though, will be a little bit different than, based on fields being offline. But once we get the project completed, then we'll really be able to even do more.
Good, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second. A motion is second. Any further discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you, council.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9 is consideration of a resolution to support the FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant for $2,000 with a 10% match required from the city of Jackson to replace end-of-life radio systems and self-contained, $2 million, 10% grant, replace end-of-life radios and self-contained breathing apparatus.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion from council?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, could we
Yes.
have one of our friends from JFD give us a quick overview of what this is in more detail?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mayor,
Good
Council.
morning.
Good morning.
I brought our super smart technology officer up here to give you a little background on our radio system and our SCBA's that we're going to be asking for and the reason for that.
Morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
So this grant is, the request is for 90 portable radios and 74 air packs, plus spare bottles for those air packs. Our current radio system, the portable radios, are approximately 10 years old, and they've been end of life for some time now, and so they need to be modernized. And we're having difficulty repairing them and replacing them, so they need to be replaced. Same with the air packs. They are currently 13 years old. All of the air bottles have to be thrown out and replaced at 15 years. That's a regulatory hard limit. And so instead of sinking the cost into that, and of course the harnesses, they've had 13 years worth of fires and exposure. And so we're wanting to apply to replace both the radios and the air packs at the same time.
All right, any additional discussion, questions?
So our match is 200,000.
Correct, yes, sir.
Is that coming out of fund balance?
It would if you get the grant.
Yeah, it probably will come, if we get the grant, it'll be next year.
Yeah, this is just the resolution to apply for the grant.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
No budget impact today.
today.
And they did show us some of this equipment when some of us went down there and visited, and how bad a shape it was, and we talked about all of this, and then the apparatus, and so
And,
I'm
and
definitely in favor.
let me
of
add,
it.
this is life safety equipment for our
Right.
firefighters. This is definitely needed, for us to be able to continue our operations in a safe environment, with our air packs, be able to communicate when we're on the fire ground. And, it's life safety equipment for the firefighters directly.
So if we get this grant, we're essentially getting much-needed capital equipment for 90% off.
Yes,
Yep.
correct.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
Any additional discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Item 10 is consideration of a resolution to support PE Partners 2025-2026 cybersecurity matching grant for reimbursement amount of $2,000 for cybersecurity training software.
Motion?
Motion is second. Further discussion from council? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
Item 11 is sunshining budget amendments less than 10,000. Item 12 is consideration of invoices over 10,000.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? Council, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passed 9-0.
No further business coming before the council. Meeting is adjourned.